Good evening, everybody, and welcome to Dr. Make Me Beautiful. I'm Shelly Yates, and I'm here with Dr. Mark Lees. Welcome.
Thank you. Nice to be here.
Yes, it's always nice to be here on Blab, and we are excited for our show. We recently had our birthdays.
Both of us.
Both of us.
Yes.
And they were very, very happy, very happy birthdays. So we're going to talk about birthday aging, and there's a difference between chronological aging and sun damage or sun aging. So can you explain that to us?
Yes, basically the difference, well, what they are defined was is chronological aging, which is also called intrinsic aging, is aging that is associated with things that happen through nature but not environment.
Gravity.
Okay, gravity, genetics, facial expressions, things like that. And there are relatively few things that cause intrinsic aging. Extrinsic aging is largely associated with sun damage. Can also be associated with smoking, any sort of environmental insult. People who work outside in real cold weather. Fishermen, things like that, have a lot of environmental aging situations where it's not just sun damage, it can be environment of any type. That's also known as extrinsic aging, scientifically. And there are many causes of it and many symptoms of it.
All right, well, what is the easiest to fix?
Well, up until recently, honestly, Shelley, we didn't have a whole lot to fix chronological aging. We just kind of had to live with it. Facelifts, that was it, okay? Now we know how to treat the skin that is chronologically aging because we know more about what happens to it physiologically.
Okay.
So as we know what happens through age, through predisposition genetically, things that are on our genes that cause us to look like our parents, okay? And also cause us to have skin similar to our parents. We know some things we can do to preempt some of the things from happening. We also know how to keep the skin healthier longer and in better shape. So it's a skin wellness situation with chronological aging a lot of the time. With intrinsic aging or sun damage, it's more recovery.
Okay.
It's more really having to fix it because it's really messed up. So in other words, if you have a house and you keep the house in relatively good shape, but over 50 years, you might have some sagging of the, of the trussles, or you might have some settling of the building where you get a few cracks.
Crow's feet around the windows.
Right, exactly. But if you have that house and it's been environmentally exposed and not really taken care of or protected, no weatherall, on the house, it's going to be in a lot worse shape. And it will be deeper into the wood and things like that. And that's kind of the difference between chronological aging, what I like to call birthday aging, and sun damage.
Right. And so you would say that you need some sort of a barrier defense when it comes to...
You need to keep the outside layer of the skin in really great shape. And you do that by, there are a number of things you do. And the first thing I want everybody to do is, of course, wear an SPF 30 sunscreen. Not just when you go to the beach, but every single day.
All the time.
Every single day you have to wear sunscreen. And what I recommend for people to do, Shelley, is to find a sunscreen in a moisturizing base that you love. that you
Right.
absolutely love. You know, you have a cream or even a shampoo or something like that, doesn't necessarily have to be a sunscreen, but you have a product that you don't feel right unless you've done it, okay? That's what you need to find in a sunscreen.
Okay.
You need to find a sunscreen, and we at my company makes 4 different screens, different weights for different skin types. We have the little heavier, creamier, moisturizing one, which is mainly what we're talking about for this group. We have one that's matte for people who are oily. We have one that's hydrating for people who are combination, and we even have one for sensitive skin. You know,
Right.
and then we actually carry some other brands for even more specific things.
Yeah,
you know.
and I know your salon here in Pensacola has just a bunch of really great stuff like
We have
that.
a lot of very specific things. We can get extremely specific for people. It doesn't have to be complicated. And one of our biggest roles as skin therapists is to take the guesswork out of it for you. When
Right.
you walk into a department store or a box store or someplace like that, and you know, where do you start? Unless you have a background in skincare. I mean,
Right.
I could go in there and pick stuff out, but
Sure.
that's because I know how to read labels, okay, as far as chemicals. But the average person is very confused, you know, when you go into a place like that, and that's one of our big functions as skin
Right.
therapists.
Well, I can totally agree. We had someone write in on our Facebook page, and we both have Facebook
Right.
pages. We're very active. And someone wrote in and they said, what is the best wrinkle cream that a person can buy? And I said, on behalf of Dr. Jones, that the best wrinkle cream is really sunscreen.
That's right.
Yeah.
That, I mean, if you only have to, you know, and I have people say, well, that's 4 steps. I really just want one step. Is there one
Right.
thing I can buy that will do me the best good? And I always say, yes, it's the sunscreen.
Right.
Because, and even there was a recent study, actually recent, 2 years ago, that was done, I want to say it was done at Duke. I'm not going, I don't quote me on that, but it was done in a major university. And all they did was give they had a group, study group, and they gave them sunscreen. They didn't tell them what it was. They just gave them sunscreen, and they told them that they were having a study, and they had a half-face study, you know. And even with the sunscreen, there was a marked, significant improvement. Just wearing that for 8 weeks,
Right.
you will see a difference in the way your skin, because the sunscreen protects your skin. If you don't wear sunscreen, your immune function, when you're in the sun, your immune function actually dwindles. Okay, there is in certain cases it excites the immune function if you get burned. Okay, but otherwise there are cells in the skin that are like little guard cells that wander through the skin, and when the skin is exposed to sun, they actually hate it and they go run and hide.
Oh.
And this is why people get fever blisters sometimes when they get into the sun. They get into the sun and all of a sudden they've got fever blisters.
Because it
And
weakens your immunity.
like herpes simplex, because the immune cells aren't there. So there's nothing to suppress the virus.
I see. Now, so you would say if you're having if you're trying to help with aging, you would say moisture is the best thing, is to keep the barrier of moisture intact.
The barrier function is very important. I'm going to go to one of my slides
Okay.
here to show you what the barrier function is. If we can switch to the PowerPoint for a second. This is one of my drawings, and you can see I did not go to art school, okay? But this is the very outside layer of their skin. It's called the epidermis, okay? And the lowest level is down at the very bottom. The lowest level of cells is what we call the basal layer. The top layer is sort of flatter cells. On the top, they almost look like shingles on a roof, okay? And that's called the corneum. And the lower level cells migrate to the outer part of the skin, which is the very tip top of the slide we're looking at. And during that process, they manufacture a sort of a fatty substance, what we call intercellular lipid matrix, or the barrier function. And Dr. Peter Elias, who's a dermatologist at UCSF San Francisco, coined this the brick and mortar theory of skin. Okay, so the cells are the bricks, and the mortar is this fatty complex that's between the cells. And the fatty complex is produced as the cells turn over.
Okay.
As you get older intrinsically, through birthday aging,
Thank
your
you.
cell cycle or your cell renewal cycle slows. And as it slows, your production of your lipids that fill in the gaps also slows. And it's the lipids that keep the water in your skin. Okay? It's almost like naturally making a little swan preening oil or something like that to keep the water in your skin. And as we get older and that cell cycle slows down, we also slow down the production. Okay? Now, the other thing that can affect, one of the biggest things that can also affect barrier function is sun. And if you have a bad sunburn, your barrier function is shot, okay? So this is a normal skin we're looking at here. This is a skin as compared to the lower part of the skin, okay?
sad.
Which is where, if we're looking at the very tip top of both of these drawings, represents the top of the skin. So let's pretend like we're looking down at this as opposed to from the side. Right now
Okay.
we're looking from the side. What is the top one going to look like? It's going to be pretty smooth.
Oh, the top one,
The
yeah.
top one's going to be pretty smooth.
Right.
The bottom one's going to be wrinkled and what Dr. Lamont used to call crinkle wrinkles. Okay. Little tidy, lots of little fine lines and everything. So one of my jobs as a skin therapist when people come to me is I'm going to try to do everything I can to make the bottom drawing look like the top drawing, okay?
Hallelujah.
And one of the things we can do is use products that are infused with lipids. We actually know how to break down the lipids and put them into products, and they will actually go in and patch
Really?
where you're missing lipids. That's right.
So how do you get that? How do you get the lipids? How do you get the patch?
We blend them into products.
Okay.
And we blend them into things like our Moisture Support A Beautiful Day sunscreen is loaded with lipids. We have a lipid night fluid. We have a lipid mask. We have lipids in our eye cream. You know, you can put lipids in a lot of different products and blend them in. And so that whole part of the line, that's why we call it the Moisture Support System. Okay. The Moisture Support System is such because it is lipid based. Okay. And we design ours specifically where they also don't clog the skin up. So if these lipid-based products, or lipid-laced products, I should say, come in contact with a skin that tends to clog, we've got them specially designed where they don't cause acne problems for people.
Okay. So do you need to have a skincare regime when you do this, or can you simply come in, like you said, and you guys will tell us exactly what we need?
Right, we can tell you specifically. And this is something you do at home. I mean, we do use lipid treatments in the clinic as well. Okay, but yeah, you would come in and we would put together a program for you. And this is one of the most important parts of the program because the water level, again, it's a full balloon versus a balloon with part of the air let out of it.
Right.
Okay, and a balloon that's been sitting around with the air let out of it, it's spongy and it's flabby. Okay, now multiply that times literally millions of cells.
Right.
Okay, and you've got all of these little dehydrated cells. The whole face is going to look bad. Okay, and if they're all pumped up and it's nice and it's just like an inflated raft or anything like that. You blow the mattress back up, it's going to be a lot firmer and a lot smoother.
Does it help to do kind of acid or peels or anything
actually,
like that?
peels
to help?
can help too. Peels can help in terms of like alpha hydroxy acids and also the use of them every day because on the bottom slide again, a lot of that is so dried up and so messed up, we really need to get rid of it.
And it wants to come off,
It wants to come off. So a lot of times by applying a mild acid at home or also in a clinic, you can, or like a mild peel, you can get a lot of that debris off the skin, which actually causes the cell cycle to start back up again. Because
Okay.
you got rid of all the crusty part.
Right.
It starts everything, it causes it to flow better. And when it flows better, it also makes more lipid. So it not
Right.
only repairs itself appearance-wise, it also makes more lipid.
And that's what you were saying when it comes to doing any kind of laser or any kind of those treatments, aggressive treatments to the skin, that's what happens. It takes off the top.
A lot of it takes off, like with laser surgical treatment. Although that is the only thing that will help certain wrinkles. Okay, I mean, the particularly like around the mouth, some of the deeper lines around the mouth are only softened. I mean, that's really the only viable treatment. But when Dr. Jones, for example, goes in and lasers that, he takes, I mean, part of that process is he takes off the top part of the skin, okay?
Yes,
So
yes.
for a while, you don't have any. And that's kind of where we come in to help with laser patients,
And,
too, because
yeah.
we can help you
Stay on, keep
help
your results.
get it back quicker.
Right. Very
exactly.
good. All right. Well, we're going to take a quick break. Please give us a call if you have any questions about your skin and the aging process, and we'll be back in a second.
Your face is your calling card, your identity, and is always on display. The key to beautiful, natural-looking improvement is choosing a facial plastic surgeon that takes time to understand your needs, one that has the expertise to deliver the results you desire. At Jones Facial Plastic Surgery, Dr. Derek Jones is a board-certified facial plastic surgeon, offering both surgical and non-surgical solutions to make you look and feel your very best. Call our office or visit our website to learn more. Jones Facial Plastic Surgery, where science meets beauty.
Treat someone you love to a half day in heaven at Mark Lee's Skincare. Immerse her in hours of luxury, including Swedish massage, therapeutic facial, and much more. A half day in heaven is the perfect gift of relaxation, only at Mark Lee's Skincare in Pensacola. Treat someone you love to a half day in heaven at Mark Lee's Skincare. Immerse her in hours of luxury, including Swedish massage, therapeutic facial, and much more. A half day in heaven is the perfect gift of relaxation, only at Mark Lee's Skincare in Pensacola.
Welcome back to Dr. Make Me Beautiful. I'm Shelley Yates from Derek Jones Facial Plastic Surgery, and I'm here with Dr. Mark Lees from Mark Lees Skincare. And we are talking about birthday aging versus sun damage. And you're telling us about, we just left talking about the different layers of the skin and how we can regenerate the barrier level.
Right.
And we were talking about peptides. Can you tell us
Right.
about that?
Peptides are fairly new. They've only been out a few years, and as far as skincare, peptides have been around since the beginning of man. But, peptides are basically pieces of protein molecules, and they are chains of amino acids. And basically, we think now that's probably how cells communicate with each other, as they exchange protein fragments. Okay. And what the original peptide that was released that showed a lot of success was something called palmitoyl pentapeptide 4. And palmitoyl pentapeptide 4 is actually a little fragment of a collagen molecule, okay? And they tied it to a fat or a lipid that would penetrate through the barrier function, because the barrier function accepts things like that. And it would penetrate through the barrier function. And because it was a piece of a collagen molecule, it basically tricked the skin into believing that the collagen up here was broken down. And so the skin responded by slowing the production of something called collagenase, which is the natural breakdown mechanism for collagen. So when you get out in the sun a lot, one of the defenses is that your skin makes something called collagenase. And collagenase is a self-destruct mechanism for collagen, okay? It's an enzyme that just destroys the collagen. And it destroys it like one peg at a time. That's why I say sun-related aging is sort of like playing Jenga. The more you go out in the sun, the more sticks you pull out, okay? And then eventually the tower falls.
Yeah,
okay?
doesn't it?
So, but what this does is it stops the breakdown mechanism from happening. So that was a great one. And now we have some other signal type peptides that we can use to reduce puffiness. We can take down fluids. There's some of them that are very soothing to the skin that help with redness. We have some that stimulate collagen now. Okay, so there's a whole bunch of different peptides that we can put in products now that do different functions. There've also been some abysmal failures, you know, but I tell people, I tell my students to look at peptides and the different sequences, and you put different amino acids together, just like putting letters in a word. And the word can mean something, or the word could be gibberish, but we don't know until we introduce it to the skin and try. So I'd say now there's probably about a dozen different peptides that are viable that you can put in skincare products that do something.
Well, that's exciting. Now you have the alpha hydroxy.
Alpha hydroxy, and then we have lipids, and then we have peptides, okay? And then, of course, we also have resveratrol, which is the latest, greatest. The resveratrol is more helpful in treating birthday aging.
Okay.
The resveratrol, as we age, our cells sort of get sluggish, and they start sort of forgetting what they were there for.
Yeah.
And resveratrol, I say, which was very strong antioxidant, and it's the magic in red wine. You hear about resveratrol all the time, and that's
like it
that's
very
the
much.
good stuff that's in red wine. But the type of resveratrol we use in cosmetics comes from a plant called the Japanese knotweed. Okay. And because the concentration of resveratrol in Japanese knotweed is much more concentrated. So when you put that on the skin, you introduce the resveratrol to the skin, it sort of makes all of the troops start marching in the right direction. That's kind of how it works. It kind of wake up, okay? It wakes everybody up, and all of the cells start functioning in a better way. It's almost like taking a vitamin that you've really been needing.
I need it. I know
So
it.
that's how resveratrol works. And we are seeing some pretty impressive, and another nice thing about the resveratrol can be combined with AHAs, with alpha hydroxys. It can be combined with lipids, okay? Sometimes it's combined with peptides, but it doesn't necessarily have to be combined with peptides. So there's a lot of things that you can do, to combine.
Well, how do you get the resveratrol? What form does it come in?
That's my job. We have a product called Serum Revival, okay, that has the resveratrol already built into it. It also has a lipid complex already built into it, and it's in a moisturizing base. So you can just apply it either under a sunscreen, or you could apply it at night just as a night fluid, or you could apply it under a heavier cream if you're really dry.
That's fantastic news.
So,
I like it.
I've got some pictures. You want to see
Yes,
some pictures?
of course.
Okay.
I love it when you bring pictures.
Okay. Really quick, these are some of our products that we use. This is our lipid-infused sunscreen, which is a beautiful day. This helps put lipids back. This is a peptide serum we make called Firm Resolution. Okay.
Oh.
And this has the peptide in it, the very famous peptide, the palmitoylpentose peptide, original one. This is Alpha Advance, which is our alpha hydroxy for mature skin. We have Firm Resolution Cream, which is a cream version. We also do the microcurrent treatments,
Yes,
which are
that's
very helpful
wonderful.
and in between. They're not a facelift, but for somebody who's not quite there yet, it's a really nice alternative. And then here's some of the case studies. Okay, this is a neck, and we use peptides, alpha hydroxy acids, and lipid infused sunscreen. And we put this lady on it for 4 weeks, and that was the difference.
Wow.
In 4 weeks. And of course, if she keeps using it, it's going to get better.
And the tone of her skin looks
Yes,
nice.
it does. And you can see the tone of her skin even from the side, the change that happened in 4 weeks. Very splotchy, sun-damaged forehead. This is 8 weeks.
Wow.
Longer period of time, but you can see a nice evening change
It
for
just
her.
looks happier.
Yeah,
It must
she
have
was happier.
yeah.
Another very sun-damaged area, very prominent, regular area, is around the mouth. This was also using the same groups of products with the peptides and the well, it did have antioxidants as well. Peptides, lipid-infused sunscreen, and alpha hydroxy, Alpha Advance. And that's the
Wow.
same. Okay.
We get a lot of people with wondering what they can do about this particular area.
Right. Well, it's a hard area to treat, and see if we get her to this stage and then she's still got some wrinkling from the sun, this would be a good time for Dr. Jones to come in and do some laser.
Yeah,
You know.
absolutely.
Here's a younger client with just an all-over treatment using the peptides and the AHAs.
Her eyes look brighter. It
Yeah,
looks
they
nice.
really do. And we also used a special peptide thing on the eye area with her as
Yeah,
well.
because she looked like she had some dark circles, but now they look like they're gone, and that's a big concern for a lot of our patients too.
Exactly. Now here we switched the peptide to a wrinkle-relaxing peptide called argireline. And you can see a softening effect of the wrinkles. Look at this neck area. I mean, I think that's quite substantial. This is about 8 weeks, and you can even see around the jawline it really picked up.
That's for sure.
And you can even see it. I've got another slide I need to add to this roll that's even bigger. And then the intrinsic birthday aging. This is the resveratrol.
Oh, hallelujah.
Okay, this is the resveratrol. So we use the resveratrol, which also has the lipids in it, and it's also a moisturizer. If you don't have real super dry skin, you can just use it as a moisturizer at night and under a sunscreen during the day. If you have drier skin, you may need to use a heavier cream on top of it. Of course, all of our products are dermatologist and irritancy tested, too.
And they can get this at your salon.
They can sure do.
Tomorrow.
And tomorrow, absolutely.
Okay.
As a matter of fact, we need to promote our.
We do. We have a great event coming up.
We do, and we are going to be offering this at a very special kit.
Oh.
We have some kits featuring some of the products we have. They're going to be offered at really mega special prices at our seminar coming up.
That's awesome. Do we have a graphic for our upcoming seminar, The Fall into Beautiful Skin?
There we go.
Is.
It
How
is
nice.
October 17th, which is a Thursday.
That's right.
Okay, from 6 to 8, and sometimes we go as late as 8:30, depending on our chattiness.
That's right.
Okay?
We are not making anybody leave. We're going to have a fun.
It's at our place at Mark Lee's Skincare in Cordova Square, and you can call the number up there, which is 476-3509, and make a reservation. We ask that people donate $5.
Yes, to the
come
Faber
to the
House.
Faber House, and we make a little fundraiser out of it. We always have very nice spread of refreshments and door prizes from both of us.
Yes.
And so we're always excited. So call us tomorrow morning.
Yeah,
And
we'll
make a
get
reservation.
Yeah, we'll get your name down and we'll see you. And it's a great interactive program. So this is really an episode of Dr. Make Me Smarter because I've learned a lot of science tonight. But thank you so much for joining us for Dr. Make Me Beautiful. I'm Shelley Yates. This is Dr. Mark Lees, and we'll see you next time.
Good night.